Hi, Billy Mays here from Hot Hands, the air-activated portable heater that heats, revives, and rescues your cold hands while saving you money. Hot Hands has no outside energy source, just rip, shake, and it heats fast. Use while skiing to warm those nearly frostbitten fingers without going inside. Don't waste money on an expensive fireplace. Hot Hands safely revives your numb hands without those dangerous flames from the fireplace. We were even able to revive this old man arthritis-ridden hands as he tries to open a jar of pickles. Now that's Hot Hands to the rescue.
Oh man, my hands are freezing in this cold laboratory. I wish I had some of those Hot Hands that I saw on TV.
Did someone say Hot Hands?
Bill Mays, is that you?
Did someone say Bill Nye?
Why are you here?
Didn't you hear? Chemistry is in everything. I'm here because I'm your conscience. Get it? Science. Just kidding. I'm just here to tell you about the chemistry that makes Billy Mays' Hot Hands, well, hot. Here's Hot Hands for you. Your hands look so cold.
Whoa, that's so cool. How's it getting hot like that?
This rust is made in a combination reaction, which means that the iron and oxygen reacted and combined into a single product. This equation shows that iron plus the oxygen makes iron 2 oxide. A combination reaction is just one of the many reactions that can occur in chemistry. There are other types like combustion reactions, like when you light a candle on fire.
That's really cool. Is there more that happens, or is that it?
There's much, much more. A reaction inside of one of these Hot Hands is called an exothermic reaction. An exothermic reaction occurs when heat is released when the reactants react with each other. The heat that's released comes from when the bonds of the iron and oxygen break and release energy in the form of heat. That explains why the hand warmers warm up. In this diagram, you can see the reactants at first and the product at the end. The slope goes down because of the release of heat, which causes a negative enthalpy, or delta H. Enthalpy is the total energy of a thermodynamic system. So in other words, in this reaction, the total energy is in the heat, because at first, the reactant starts with the heat, but then by the end, the products don't have as much heat, so the heat has been released. I didn't know that, but I do know that why the reaction occurs so quickly. It's because there's salt inside these packages. Otherwise known as sodium chloride, the salt helps to expedite the reaction without becoming part of the reaction. This helping hand is known as a catalyst. A catalyst comes into the reaction to help speed along the process. It does this by lowering the transition rate, which lowers the activation energy. The activation energy is the energy that is needed to get to the transition state, and because the catalyst lowers the energy needed, more reactants are able to react. I'm going to show you the catalyst reaction in this exothermic reaction diagram. So it will change the slope to this, and this is the catalyst. So now, more things are able to react with each other.
Whoa, that's so crazy. I had no idea so much went on in such a small little package. One last question. We talked about this in my science class a couple weeks ago, and I was wondering if you could explain this to me. How do substances interact and change to cause heat flow?
Awesome question. At first, when these substances aren't reacting, the energy is stored in the bonds of the reactants. When two different substances are added together, their bonds break and release the energy. That same energy in the form of heat is either absorbed by the products, which makes the surroundings in the system colder, or the energy would be released by the products, which would make the surroundings warmer. The interaction comes from both the reactants combining to form one product, because it's a combination reaction. And the changes come from the bonds of the reactants that break and form new bonds to make the product of the reaction. Finally, the heat flow comes from the energy released by the system as a whole, and that, my friend, is the answer to your question.
That's so helpful. My teacher's gonna be so impressed.
Now that's hot hands for you. Now go and get your hands on some today.